Hi there, welcome to Miss Ellie's Math Academy. In this video, I will teach you about compound inequalities. Here is the table of contents. I will be going over 3 chapters with you today. What are compound inequalities, how to solve compound inequalities, practice problems, and then it will be the end of the lesson. Before I move on to the lessons, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So now let's get started with the first chapter. What are compound inequalities? Compound inequalities follow the same rules as simple inequalities do. If you forgot what simple inequalities are, you can check back to my previous video because it explains all about simple inequalities. Compound means something that has 2 or more parts. Using that definition, compound inequalities just have 2 or more signs. However, a simple inequality has only one sign. That's the only difference there is. Knowing that compound inequalities have 2 or more signs, you instantly figure out that there's going to be more parts to calculate in compound inequalities than simple inequalities. So here are 2 examples. One is a compound and one is a simple inequality. -9 is less than x is less than 9. When there are 2 inequality signs, you instantly know that this is a compound inequality. Meanwhile, x is greater than -9. When there is one inequality sign, you know it's a simple inequality because there's only one sign. Now let me teach you on how to understand compound inequalities in a more simpler way. Here is the example I provided for you. -9 is less than x is less than 9. Compound means and, so you can split this into 2 parts. I splitted it into x is greater than -9 and that x is less than 9. Let me show you on how I got these numbers. When you look at closely in the compound inequality, it says that -9 is less than x. But when you put the variable up in front, x is less than -9, and already the compound inequality shows you that x is going to be less than 9. So an easy way to think about this is to imagine that several simple inequalities are getting squished together into one compound inequality. In Chapter 2, I will be teaching you on how to solve compound inequalities. So here is an example. -3 is less than x plus 9 is less than 3. I want you to solve this compound inequality like you would with equations. Our goal here is to isolate the variable, which in this case is x. But 9 is being added to x, and we don't want that. We want x to be alone. In order to get rid of that 9, we want to use inverse operation, meaning that you're going to do the opposite of what you're doing to x. So instead of adding 9, you're going to subtract 9, because that's the only way you're going to cancel out that number. When you subtract 9, you get the answer of -12 is less than x is less than -6. And since x is isolated, that will be your final answer. Now in Chapter 3, we will be doing practice problems. Here are 2 questions I want you to try on your own. When you finish, unpause the video to check if your process and your final answer is correct. So now I will be solving the first question. -5 plus 3 is less than x minus 2 is less than 4. We're going to be simplifying everything we can before we isolate the variable. And in this case, you can simplify -5 plus 3. You can change that into -2 is less than x minus 2 is less than 4. Now there's less things to solve. We want to isolate the variable x. So in order to cancel out the -2, we're going to be adding 2 to all of these numbers. When we do that, your final answer will be 0 is less than x is less than 6. And box it to show that that will be your final solution. The second question is -8 minus 6 is less than 2x is less than 6. Such as the first one, you can also simplify -8 minus 6. Then it will turn into -14 is less than 2x is less than 4. Currently, x is being multiplied to 2, and you don't want that. X has to be alone. So in order to get rid of 2, you're going to divide 2 to cancel that whole number out. When you do that, you get the answer of -7 is less than x is less than 2. And that will be your final answer. Now let's try 2 more questions. I will be solving the first one. -54 is less than -6x is less than -6. There's a lot of negative signs here, and I want you to be careful of how you solve these. First, we want to isolate x. We're going to be dividing -6 instead of multiplying. When you do that, all the negative numbers get canceled out to positive numbers, because negative divided by negative equals a positive number. So then your answer is ultimately 9 is less than x is less than 1. And that's your final answer. The last question is 4 is less than x/2, which means that x is getting divided by 2 is less than 6. Currently, x is getting divided by 2. So instead of dividing, we have to multiply 2 to all of the rest of the numbers. When we do that, you'll get the answer of 8 is less than x is less than 12. Since x is alone, you know that that is your final answer. So that is the end of the lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Thank you for watching.